Okay. Welcome to this conversation between Wyatt
Hello.
and me, Karla Palomino. So I'm Karla Palomino. I am the founder visionary behind LOBA Initiations. And we are having our 7th LOBA this upcoming March 17th through the 22nd in the coast of Oaxaca, in the jungle. And we begin preparations in 8 days. So how LOBA works is you have a month of preparation, you have a week in person, deep in-person initiation, and then you have a month of integration, of digestion of the ceremony, of digestion of the experience. And so this theme that we are doing, we've done different themes before, and this theme that we're going for in this LOBA is Ancestors, which honestly has always been a part of LOBA, right? When you do work, our body's an ancestor. So when you do work with your body, when you are connecting to your bones, when you are connecting to your blood, when you are connecting with the unseen realms, inevitably you are working with your ancestors, because there are thousands of ancestors that stand behind you, that are guiding you, and the power and the things that they move through and all of that is actually given to you, right? Like you are holding that memory. It's like living inside of you, right? Not just epigenetically, but like spiritually as well, right? Mm-hmm. And you not only have blood ancestors, but you also have spiritual ancestors, right? And you have guides, you have lineages, you have like when you have a deep resonance with sometimes a particular piece of music, or like a particular guide that you just sense, a particular animal that holds medicine, that is a part of your counsel, right? A part of your counsel that is with you and guiding you. And you still have the choice of whether or not you choose to say yes to the initiations of what your ancestors are guiding you towards. But today we're going to be talking about LOBA, right? And Wyatt is LOBA Mama Logistics, and she has been initiated. She's supported LOBA before. She's been initiated through LOBA twice before. So she's like gone through the journey twice. She was a long-term student of mine, and now we are working together in this way, and she's really supporting the mission. And so we're going to both be talking about LOBA, ancestors, Wyatt's journey with LOBA, like what LOBA has opened up for you, what this journey has been about for you, and all things to do with ancestors. So yeah, there's so much more that I could say, but like I really want to bring in this piece that it's, yes, your blood ancestors, but it's also like elemental, right? It's also the way that certain lands call to us, right? Like my journey with living here now is really to do with the ancestors of this land calling me here, right? So there's a lot there.
Yeah.
You want to introduce yourself, Wyatt?
Sure. I'm Wyatt Benoit. I am, like Karla said, a longtime student of Karla's work, probably for, five years now, and have been a longtime participant and supporter of LOBA.
Wyatt was at the second LOBA.
Yeah. And just the evolution from the time I was initiated then, and then I went through my second initiation this last round during Dangerous Woman, just being able to witness the different flavors and just the shift and the true refinement that has come to LOBA over time, where it's just each time she gets so much tighter, so much sweeter, so much more dialed in, that it's just like every time I feel like Karla, when we walk away from a LOBA, we're like, whoa, that one was amazing.
It really is the kind of medicine that just she's a body of work. She's like, LOBA is an altar, right? And so how it works shamanically is that there are different altars, different ceremonial spaces. They contain an altar, and LOBA is her own altar, and we've been feeding her now for 3 years, and she came 4 years ago as a vision, but then it took time for the first LOBA. And this is just what happens. It's like, it's the same way in which, we work with our medicine wheel. No matter where you're from, by the way, your ancestors worked with a medicine wheel in the directions. And in my work, as you begin to gather your own medicine, we work with the medicine wheel, which deepens in your own relationship to your medicine and the medicine in each direction. And so in the same way, LOBA, like she there's more harvesting. You feed something over time and it grows and it builds, and the energy, the frequency, she just tightens and expands at the same time and deepens. Like there's just no other way. She just reveals more of her medicine and shows us more and kicks our ass in a good way. And
Yeah, I remember after my first LOBA and the next LOBA happened, and it was just like all the women spoke to like how they could feel her kind of rising again. And so I think it was something that really hit me about LOBA was it's like she's not a one-time initiation. Even if you never come back to one, which I wouldn't recommend, but I was like, come as many times as you want. But it's just, she continually initiates you. Like she continually works with you. It's like a long-term commitment. Like LOBA isn't just a short-term fling that you have. It's like, yeah, I'm saying yes to you. I'm saying yes to life for what this medicine will continue to unravel. Because of the ways it just keeps weaving in and out of your life afterwards, after the in-person initiation specifically. It's just, you feel really fed by it long term.
There's a core element to LOBA in that she's a prayer ceremony. And so what that means is that the prayer that you hold during LOBA, you are feeding that prayer, and that prayer continues after LOBA. You're fed because, yeah, she might dismantle and deconstruct, which she will. She will, like you will go in there and like move shit and like, right? Like things will reveal in that way, but you're feeding simultaneously your prayer. And so it's not just, after LOBA, then it's like, whatever. It's like, there's a cultivation of life force energy that is coming through, and it's feeding you, and it continues after the ceremony, which is why we hold the integration digestion piece, so that you can be more conscious about what it is that you are feeding that energy to. Like, what is it that you want to create? What is it that you how do you want to carry that prayer forward? Because a prayer is not just like Santa Claus. A prayer is who I am willing to be. A prayer asks you who you are willing to be. You're surrendering to the beingness of that. You're stepping into that. But it actually asks of a deeper embodiment from you. Right? That's a really core piece. And so that's why she really nourishes you, even though it can be fiery and hard in some moments, because someone today during a coaching call that I held for Tierra Alma, year-long mentorship that I hold, she's like, going to LOBA was like stepping right into the fire. Like it was energetically like stepping into a fire. And here I've been in this last year seeing, like, working through everything that LOBA revealed to me, and now integrating and being able to embody what was actually beneath in the prayer that I was holding now with the support, right? So this is why LOBA feels nourishing, even though it does ask of you, right? She feeds you as you feed her through your prayer, as you feed her through the sacrifice, right? Like through the offering of your energy. Like it's like she feeds you back in that way, and really it's like connecting. It's not like LOBA's not like a deity in that way, but it's just any way that we connect to an altar will have, because an altar is a living, breathing thing.
Yeah. And I think it's just, there's so many things that came through while you're talking. I was like, ah, this, ah. So I'm trying to like, what's the thing that really needs to be said here? And it's just, yeah, so it just keeps bringing me back to the times when I've been in it versus holding it. And I remember the first time I did LOBA, and the way I described it, it was like, it felt like a free fall, but I still had a net. Like I still felt held. Like it wasn't like free falling into the abyss and I was just going to like forever fall and like nothing had me. There was still this, she still has this sensation, this frequency of like, hey babe, I'm watching you do what you need to do. Yet I'm like, I'm still here. You know, it's like a mom who's like willing to let her kid fall and be like, hey, I'm still here. Like, I'm still watching you. I've got you. If it gets really, really bad, like, I'm still here. And I'm here to witness you strengthen these muscles into becoming who you're meant to be and exercising that without me doing all the work for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because she asks you to step in. She asks you to show up, right? Like, it's not, like, LOBA holds you, but no one can do the work for you. No one can alchemize for you. And as a matter of fact, if you want somebody else to do the work for you or alchemize for you, you will just end up healer hopping, guru hopping, like endlessly in the consumption versus cultivating that alchemical capacity within you that is your medicine that you are actually hungry for. It's like you want to know and feel how capable, truly capable you are. How true, like how truly, like that fire of your spirit that is there. And your ancestors, the unseen realm that is around you, that is your counsel, is here to guide you and hold you in that, right? You want to feel that connection to your guides, to your like, your prayer, it's you, you know, it's like we do this work in community because there is some work. There are some things that cannot be touched when you are not skin to skin, when you are not body to earth, when you are not held and seen for who you truly are, with women who will not come in and try to rescue you from yourself, with women who actually see beneath your stories and your identification with your pain, but women who actually hold you in that deepest. It is fucking confronting.
Yeah.
Because
it's true accountability.
It's true accountability because it's like, oh, I'm not getting to just get away with everyone in my life colluding with my patterns and my masks and my things, but I'm actually being called forth into like the core of who I actually am. Oh, fuck. That requires me to see myself. That requires me to face myself. That requires me to be with the most tender parts of myself that I may not know how to be with all the way, that I am still learning how to fully be with and know with every inch of myself. And so I've known Wyatt through this journey, right, for years. And Wyatt is like a freaking different person. And I want to hear from you, like really, really, Wyatt, like I know this is like a, you've been very devoted. It's been years,
yeah.
It's a big question, but like, what has really like, maybe even like more practically shifted in your life that you're like, damn, like I really see this like practical, I mean, there's so many, but these practical shifts in my life from yes, like my, like going to LOBA and stuff, but also like, yeah, your devotion, your commitment to this work, to this body of work.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, I think one thing before I answer that, if that's okay. Something just as you were speaking that was really coming through so loudly for me, it was just like how capable LOBA shows you actually are. And how much we have bought into these stories and these ideas that we're super disempowered, that like we have no control, and like everything is happening to us. And I think
very alluring and seducing, by the way.
Of course.
And will keep you hooked, by the way, for a long time.
Yeah. And I think that feeds really nicely into like the other question you were asking me.
Yes.
It was just like, for a very long time, it felt like life was happening to me. And I was very good at endurance. Like I could endure fucking anything, you know? And what Karla had talked about even in the last LOBA is like anyone can endure something. But it's really actually about, can you be receptive to life as it's happening to you, despite whatever preference you might have. It's like, despite it being uncomfortable, despite it like going against all the logic, against this or what other people are saying and blah, blah, blah. It's like, can you actually say yes to the full spectrum of life? And in that is like, as I continued to slowly open to that like penetration, it was like,
which is an edgy word for some people, but it really is that, like, this is an important word because it's like the vulnerability of like being really receptive to life, to your own life force, your power. Like, it's a vulnerable position, right? And we get victimized actually because we don't allow ourselves to be penetrated by life. We resist against it. We resist against our sensations. We resist against, like,
we have our masks, we build our security systems. And it's just like, what I've really realized, like the visual that comes through for me in terms of like being fully receptive to life has just been like quite literally cracking the ribs of my chest, opening it up, having my heart fully exposed and being like, yeah, you can touch, like you can put your finger there. And it's like, yeah, like I'm getting teary because it's just like, it's so big to just fall into life, like to just be in this pose of openness to this world that could like take your heart, pull it out, throw it over there, you know? But like, do you trust your ability to go and pick your heart up again, put it back into your chest and go, okay, what's next? And I think that's what this work has given me. And it really has allowed me so many things, like finding partnership, finding peace with my family, fourth house and Pluto here, you know.
your health and energy.
My health and energy. I was dealing with 20 years of like chronic fatigue and illnesses and you name it. I've probably been diagnosed with it. And it's just really, it's learning to detach from the things that are actually keeping this all closed in and preventing you from actually expanding into potentialities that you never even imagined could be possible, or anything that you could actually gift yourself. And I think that's the thing about LOBA, is she's like, she makes you realize what you've been limiting yourself from. Because LOBA's like, you deserve actually it all. And not in this like righteousness way, but just in this way, it's like, you like, actually all of this is for you, for me, for her. And there's actually no scarcity in that either. There's like enough. There's enough for us to have it all. Yeah.
Just want you to feel that. Like, this is huge. As you were speaking, like, one of the things that really came through was this layer of like this reverence for energy that LOBA teaches, and like this reverence. It's like when we don't revere our energy, we're willing to have all of these energy leaks. And all of these energy leaks are in our victimhood, are in our identification, and are also in our unwillingness to feel actually what's really there, like the unwillingness to like face the pain because you think that facing the pain means that you're going to drown in the pain, or like, you know what I mean? And so you create an identity around the pain, but you don't actually even really face the pain. But actually when you face the pain, there's like a liberation that happens, and we can theorize about that all day long, right? We can think about it, but it's such a different experience to actually, like, in the body, somatically, ritually, feel it, like feel the karma clear.
Yeah.
And we know karma clears because there is a true before and after. Like, transformation actually occurs when we fully meet every layer of the onion in that transmutation process, right? Like we're not enduring it. We're like, oh, okay, I'm gonna feel this all the way, and through every wound that's there, through every thing that hurt, that then you build this little thing over, is actually a medicine. And I feel like, you know, with LOBA showing your capability, it's not showing your capability to endure, it's showing your capability of the medicine that you actually hold. But there cannot be any medicine when you are resisting actually fully facing the pain that is actually there.
Yeah. And I think a big part of LOBA too is just like the community aspect. For me, some of my deepest, dearest women in my life came from LOBA. But beyond that aspect, there's something that I feel is so necessary about doing this work, and actually the witnessing of it.
Do you want to speak to that?
Yeah. And actually like being held by other women in that. Because yes, there's LOBA, yes, there's Karla, yes, there's other women there. But it's also how the other women are just like contributing to that mirroring, that reflection, that permission. And there's something that happens in witnessing other people give themselves permission.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, she gave herself permission to do that. And like witnessing the beauty of that rawness then can cycle back into us and be like, yeah, actually I can give that to myself too, you know?
I'm really feeling the uncaging element inside of that.
Yeah.
The uncaging element, like the places where our life force is like a little like gotta tighten it up, gotta present it in a certain way. I'm afraid of this rawness, and you know, it's such a permission space. And I feel too like holding it here in the coast, in this jungle, in this heat, where you lose that element of control of like your environment and everything. Just be, you know, we're sitting here like we're sweating balls.
Talk about heat.
Like we are sweating balls, you know, and that heat element is important. Like it activates your own fire and your own relationship to your fire.
Yeah. And I often have like felt how much of like LOBA's energy is this like crock pot, where it's like she's going to heat it up so much that you actually can't hold the pressure in anymore. Like it's going to have to pop off. And I think there's also something coming back to that like permission aspect and that being witnessed. It's like there are these ways when we start doing the shadow work, we're like, oh, that part of me, and we're just like disgusted, and we're like, oh my God, it was the biggest fucking, it's too hard to share or whatever. And then like it's almost like pulling off the Band-Aid, and you're just like, how you do it, you share it with these women, they witness you, and they're just like unfazed. And you're like, well, that was a lot of hoopla.
Yeah.
That was like a lot of your energy. Speaking about like energy leaks, that was a lot of energy and a lot of tension in going into something that we think is so big and impressive. And sometimes it's just really humbling to witness like how unimpressive it actually is.
Exactly.
And there is, I think there is an important aspect to desensitizing
Fully.
to the true witnessing of yourself,
Of course.
because then it helps like remove that layer of
Potential shame.
or punishment. You know, you and I have talked about this, like having a punisher come in and be like, oh, you're bad. And it's just like, the more you can remove that, the easier you can actually alchemize. And I just feel LOBA has so many components that actually like helps fast track a lot of this. Not because it's the easier route. Let me tell you, like, it's not easy. It's not like easy. But yeah, we've talked about making a shirt of like, what was it?
I didn't need 10 years of therapy. I went to LOBA instead.
Yeah, I just needed LOBA instead. So it's just, there's just something so magical, so ethereal, so in the earth, so true, so resonant to the ancestors, to the sisterhood, to mother, that just really is this like perfect, I don't think soup is the right word, but like this perfect environment that helps people accelerate or move out of a stuckness. And there's just something so magnificent about doing it without hallucinogenics, because it just shows you like how actually magical we truly are, like how limitless our bodies are, our souls are. It's again, it comes back to that like capability thing where it's just like, whoa, fuck, I did that. And not like an egoic way, but just like, whoa, wow.
You have to understand, this is a huge element, right? And it's like, I've got my respect for plant medicine.
Yeah.
But LOBA's for woman. We have a womb. Yeah? Woman, your womb is the portal.
Yeah.
Like, you got the imprint of the life-death life cycle sitting inside of you. You have, like, your body and connecting with your body is psychedelic. And it's very important to resensitize yourself, to really be able to receive all that's there, right? Like, what is it to not, like, look, LOBA is fiery. It is this environment that does like it is like the birthing, right? Like with like birthing, that energy of birthing. And there has to be the contractions and the pressure in that birth process, right? Mm-hmm. There is.
Yeah. And discomfort.
And discomfort inside of it. But what is it to not need so much in order to open? What is it to be able to be so landed in your own bones, to be seated in your real power, that you are able to transmute, that you are able to alchemize, that you are able to touch, not touch, because you're an extension of God, to remember God through your own body, through your own cells. And LOBA's precise. She's got this precision. Yeah? It's like when everything gets quiet and like, shh, that it's like light as a feather, but it's pointed. And it is confronting. It has that energy of, you can't look away. Like when you see, you can't look away. She has this essence inside of her. And this LOBA, this upcoming LOBA, is like, the deeper that I work with women in so many ways, the more that we are able to see how her dreams, her visions that come from her soul are extensions of, with the blood ancestors, it's the extensions of the unlived potentiality that was there. And I don't mean this in like a, you have to martyr yourself and you have to like, this isn't like a should. This doesn't have like that should. This is, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this
Yeah.
is like when you tune in, right? Like maybe we each share something from our bloodline. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of like the woman in our lineage. Like when you tune in, you'll see that it was in like often what our soul is really desiring is like that direct correlation to our ancestors, because it's something that was unlived. Like you are the walking dream of your ancestors. You have to understand that. And this isn't about, well, my aunt Sally this and my uncle Ed and like,
And it's not about the family bakery.
and it's not about the family bakery, and like we love it. We love the stories.
Yeah.
This babe, this isn't it. That's not it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, do you wanna share, like maybe we each share like a glimpse of an ancestral, like an ancestral layer.
Well, I think a big part of why I participated in the last LOBA was really coming into my mother lineage that had of like fucking powerful women with so much energy, so much to give, so just like oracle majestic. And there somewhere along the way it shut down, and each lineage it kept on shutting down. And there was this way in which each woman ended up being really victimized by their own medicine, their own offering. Like their own offering became their like own limbo in a way, and collapse. And the thing they didn't realize was what was actually needed to be integrated to be accepted in order to actually shift them out of their stuckness, their hardness. And I won't go into specifics, but like during one of the ceremonies, like afterwards, after it like finally left me, it left. That was wild. It just, I felt them on the other side, and it wasn't you arrived, it was we arrived. And gosh, it makes me so emotional, because it's just like you could see all the ways in which that prayer was answered for all the women in my life. You know, it wasn't just for me, it was this big breath that like expanded in like all directions, like this direct, like the future generations, the past generations. It was like, we don't have to hold on to this anymore. And it's like I could feel all the ways they had like put their hands for me to step on to get there. And yeah, that's just something LOBA gave me. You know, so it's big, it's profound. It's I think that's why the ancestral stuff, this one specifically, is so I don't think like important is the word that I'm looking for, but there's something about the portal of truly connecting with your ancestors that is just expansive. It's like beyond healing. It's expanding and breaking free of things that so many people in your family had been like chained by. It's liberation.
Just gonna give a moment for that because
just like I didn't expect to be so teary, but it moves you. It moves you. Yeah.
I think what's wild about hearing you talk about it is that, it's like I hold LOBA, like, right? I'm the ceremony holder of LOBA. So I've never been through a LOBA in that way. But you literally articulated precisely in the exact, like forward, backward, the step, like you articulated exactly what it has been for me.
Yeah.
And like you feel like it's not like like you feel it in the body, you feel it in your spirit. Because when you heal, or I've never really loved that word, but there's something to that word. When you bring home something like that, like when that happens, it's happening at the spirit level. It's actually not just somatic. It's not just mental. It's not just emotional. And it's not just in the spirit. Healing occurs when each point of the medicine wheel, when the mental, emotional, spiritual, physical body come into that alignment. And that occurs through the primordial multidimensionality of like, so like you being ready for it, you really opening and being in ceremony.
Yeah.
It's that.
Yeah.
Like it just kind of like happens in this way.
Yeah.
And that is exactly what it feels like. Maxine, I wrote we shared one of her testimonials. We shared her testimonial. She sent me a message and she's like, I've never felt this before until being in ceremony with you, of like literally feeling my blood move, like things in my blood moving, like because it's there, right? Like the primal body, when people think of the primal body, they're like, like they're like, you know?
I mean, there's a little bit of that.
There's a little bit of that. There is. We have a little bit of that. But it's like the primal body is like it is through the body. The dog agrees. It's like it's the primal body that actually opens that gateway to the spirit, right?
Yeah.
Like we connect with our spirit through the body in this kind of ceremony, and yeah, it's just like I can't even top this. Like there's so many different layers, but it's exactly this. It's like when you feel a curse, we can call it a curse. There's things that happen at some point. There's ancestral entities. There's ancestral curses that are carried forth, and they're liberated when someone has the willingness to fully face it. And it's not just for you. It is for you. It is for your life, but it's also transpersonal. And I'm a 6'2" in human design. And so like the 6 line, like I can be very like objective. I'm like really into the transpersonal and the like seeing like the web and like the mythicness of like, it's like, I think it's important that we get into this place of like rite of passage is the place where you care for your adolescent enough. So not so that you then self-abandon and like our service in the self-abandoned way, but because you recognize how your imprint, your role is so much bigger than just for you. Like it's like collective, it's collective. It's truly being of service. And so, sometimes that's like a little bit ahead of like where people are at. And it's really important to like be with each point of the journey. Like I didn't start thinking like, and it's like, but you get there eventually because you realize like, oh fuck, this is like not even for like you like, this is not even for like just me. This is so much bigger than me. This is so much bigger than even my life. And oh shit, this is even bigger than this lifetime.
Yeah.
Like, and that's one element we haven't really talked about, but I'll just like drop it like a little pebble here. It's like, this is also about becoming a solid ancestor. Like you're going to pass, you're going to die in this body. Like you have lived, like, in case you didn't know, you have lived multiple lives. You are a record keeper of that memory, of that accumulated wisdom, but also like karma, trauma, blah, blah, all of that as well. And this is also about like really, really, it's about living all the fucking way. And when we are willing to die all the way, we're willing to live all the way.
Yeah.
And Loba confronts you with that aspect.
Yeah. It teaches you about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think just something that it's funny because you talk about how like Loba teaches you your service. And I'm like, well, in this case, Loba became my service. Like I found my actual purpose in Loba through the work of Loba.
And this wasn't planned. Like this was just like the natural organic evolution, like I was like, I don't know, we were like, there was like, okay, but Loba reveals the truth, right? It's like Loba really reveals the truth for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for Wyatt, it just like
happened. It just happened.
It just happened
to be this. She's like, oh, hi, here I am. I was like, oh, wow. I've been waiting for you. Like I felt that like that coming homeness, that like bringing you, like even last time, especially with you and Haley, I'm sure you've all seen her, but she helped Karla hold the last Loba. And it was just like, it felt like such a beautiful invitation back to myself. Whereas like, again, that just, you've arrived, like, welcome back. We've been waiting for you. It's like the ultimate homecoming. It's like,
I'm smiling because I've had an exact moment in my own ceremonial experience of like literally hearing those exact words.
Yeah. It's like,
you're home. We've been waiting for it.
Yeah.
We've been waiting for you. And I remember at the time being like, for me, this, like, I remember the time when like, I was like, what does that even mean? Like, so the mind is like trying to catch up to the unwinding of the soul, and it's like, what does that even mean? And it's like, oh, wow. Like, here I fucking am.
Yeah.
I think from here, let's just sit in the energy of Loba and just take a moment with us, and we'll just hold like the frequency and the invitation to Loba. So just take a moment and find a position that you can lay down or sit down or just be inside of. And just notice your aliveness through the temperature of your skin, through the way that your breath is moving your body, even in just subtle ways. Noticing your aliveness through the way that your awareness is touching on different points of your body. As you now begin to drop your awareness down to your pelvic bowl, like you're guiding your breath, your awareness, your life force down with your attention. And you feel your throat and your jaw and your third eye drop down to your pelvic bowl. And we're going to bring in the frequency of LOBA, and we're just gonna breathe with her and just notice what you sense in your womb, in your body, without making any of it wrong, just meeting it. Just gently noticing what you felt as you open your eyes. And you just tune in. We're just about full for this LOBA. And we invite you.
Yeah, come.
Come. Come to LOBA.